We continue our work at Ukraine Crisis Media Center. Now the floor is given to Colonel Andriy Lysenko, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesperson on NATO-related issues. Welcome. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I would like to start with good news. During the last 24 hours, as a result of military actions, there were no servicemen who would be killed or wounded. At the same time, the forces of aggressor continue provocative shelling of the territory that is controlled by the armed forces of Ukraine. Illegal armed formations used artillery systems of big caliber, mortars, and weaponry of IVF that were banned by agreements. And the Lugansk sector hybrid warriors delivered 7 firing provocations. The situation was hot in Svetlodarsk Bulge during second part of the day. Pro-Russian forces opened fire at defenders of Lugansk with the use of 152 mm of caliber and 82 mm mortars. And the enemy launched at our positions 3 large caliber shells and 27 mines. Late in the evening, our positions near Lugansk came under fire, this time with the use of small arms. The enemy also launched 17 shells with the mortars of 82 mm of caliber at positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in the suburbs of Lozove. 5 more bursts of mines of 82 mm of caliber were recorded near positions near Novolugansk. On the whole, near the settlement, the occupiers 3 times violated ceasefire using different types of weapons, including weaponry of IFVs. And Ukrainian servicemen powerfully returned fire that suppressed the enemy for a long time. The Donetsk sector, in connection with the service trip to Lugansk of the main forces of the enemy, the occupants violated ceasefire only twice. After 3 p.m., the enemy launched 2 mines with the use of 120 mm mortars and also opened fire with hand grenade launchers at our positions in the region of Pavlopil. Then occupants were active near Yasinuvata. From there, for 1 hour, they shelled the defenders of Avdiivka with all the arsenal of the infantry weapons, and our servicemen suppressed the activity of the militants using grenade launcher fire. During the last 24 hours, along the line of confrontation, the enemy delivered 9 precision shellings of the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine. 3 times Ukrainian servicemen returned fire with the use of weaponry that is not prohibited by Minsk agreements. According to information provided by main intelligence department of MOD, in occupied territories of Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast, there are contradictions on the rise between the militants and their commanders. And the number of cases of covert and overt sabotage increased, and the commanders humiliate their subordinates and abuse their office, and the commanders now try to find those who escalate overall dissatisfaction. And because of deterioration of the situation in the separate regions of in the Donetsk and Lugansk, in the Lugansk Oblast, President of Ukraine Petro Poroshenko convened extraordinary meeting of the military department of Council of National Security and Defense of Ukraine, and he stated that due to the increase of number of Russian military forces and mercenaries, Ukrainian forces are ready to any development of the situation. And the president ordered the Ukrainian representative of JCCC on ceasefire and stabilization of demarcation line to activate cooperation with the special monitoring mission of OSCE in Ukraine to inform Western allies. On the basis of National Academy of Ground Forces, named after Pyotr Sagaidatchny of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, they started 2-week training courses for chaplains, those who for a long time officially serve in the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The chaplains will take part in training in field conditions where they will get information about specificity of military activity, and they will have training in engineering, tactics, topography, firing training, and medical training. And the priests won't be taught how to use weapons, but they will understand the functioning of military detachments where they will serve. The officers of a group of civil and military cooperation Bakhmut organized for children from low-income families from Mironivska and Luganska settlements, the visit to Sphera circus that came from Bakhmut. The officers brought children for this performance in their car and treated them with the tea and sweets. The officers of Group of Civil and Military Cooperation Toretsk for 3 days coordinated actions and accompanied the volunteers from Charity Fund Ukraine Without Limits, who delivered social and psychological support to school children of Toretsk and Novgorodska. And also they brought some humanitarian help and warm clothes and books. In Starobelsk, they held a meeting to commemorate the memory of servicemen who died on Luganshina, to commemorate the memory of the heroes. The people gathered, the military and young people and volunteers attended this meeting, and also the students of the Taras Shevchenko University also attended the ceremony. It should be stated that more and more young people come to this memorable place. Please introduce yourself first and ask your question. Lysenko, Kaspersky, Ukraine TV channel. And how the situation in Lugansk and in the sector, how the situation can influence on the overall situation at the front line. Due to the activity of the occupants at the line of confrontation, our detachments are in constant battle readiness. They can constantly monitor the situation. Now we pay more attention to the situation that is in Lugansk and around the city. And our readiness is really high. We cannot make it higher because servicemen, they are in constant battle readiness and they are ready to repel the attack. Also, our reserve forces also are they are also ready. Those that are in the withdrawal areas are also ready. Those that are controlled by the representatives of OSCE mission. If the situation escalates, we will implement all necessary measures in order to stop the enemy. And for this, we will inform our Western counterparts, and also we will implement all necessary measures in order to support local population in case of escalation. Do you have other questions? Please ask. There was information that from the side of Russia to LPR, they brought a lot of military equipment and trucks with military personnel. Is it true? The columns of military equipment were recorded that were bringing military personnel, also armored vehicles, and the information about tanks was not confirmed. The matter is in Lugansk and around it, they have enough of this equipment. They even lack, they have like drivers of these vehicles. in order to go to some region. And we state once again, we monitor the situation. We have reconnaissance, air reconnaissance, and a lot of reconnaissance detachments of foreign countries. They also pay attention to this situation. Do you have other questions? If there are no, thank you.